Once upon a time, in an old, creaky farmhouse nestled at the edge of a quiet village, a colony of mice lived in relative peace. They scurried through the wooden walls, nibbled at crumbs, and played their little games when the humans weren't watching. For years, the mice thrived under the floorboards and behind the pantry shelves. Life was good, until the farmer brought home a cat. Now, this wasn't just any cat. She was sleek, silent, and cunning. With fur like midnight and eyes that glowed in the dark, she was a predator born for patience and precision. Her name was Shadow, and from the moment she entered the house, everything changed for the mice. The first few days were a disaster. One by one, mice who ventured too far from their nests disappeared. No one saw them again. The whispers among the colony grew louder. Parents warned their children not to go near the kitchen. Scouts returned with tales of paws striking like lightning and eyes that watched from the shadows. Fear spread like wildfire. The mice convened a meeting beneath the floorboards. The eldest among them, a wise and wrinkled mouse named Barnaby, addressed the gathered crowd. "We must find a way to survive," he said. "This cat is no fool. She hunts with purpose. We must be cleverer." The younger mice shouted ideas. "Let's dig a tunnel to the barn," one suggested. "We should all leave," cried another. But Barnaby shook his head. "This is our home," he said. "Running won't solve the problem. We must understand our enemy." So they watched, and they learned. Shadow had patterns. She napped at noon and hunted at dusk. She liked the windowsill in the morning sun and prowled silently at night. When the mice crept out after dark, they would hear her claws softly clicking against the floorboards above. But Shadow was smart. As the mice adapted, so did she. Soon she began to change her tactics. One day, she hung from a beam in the ceiling, pretending to be dead, her body limp, her tongue out, and her eyes shut tight. A curious young mouse crept closer, thinking the danger had passed. In a flash, Shadow sprang to life and caught him in her jaws. Terror returned to the colony. Another night, she hid in a flour sack, covering her scent. When the mice approached the pantry for food, she burst out, scattering them like leaves in the wind. It seemed she had no limit to her cleverness. Barnaby called another meeting. "We must not only be watchful," he said gravely, "we must outwit her." That's when a bright young mouse named Tilly raised her paw. "What if we knew when she was coming?" she asked. "What if we could hear her before she saw us?" The room fell silent. Barnaby stroked his whiskers. "Go on," he said. "We hang a bell around her neck," Tilly explained. "That way, every time she moves, we'll hear her. She'll never be able to sneak up on us again." Excitement rippled through the mice. Cheers erupted. "Brilliant! Let's do it tonight! We'll be safe at last!" But Barnaby raised his paw, silencing the crowd. "It is a wonderful idea," he said thoughtfully. "But who will bell the cat?" Silence returned. The mice looked at each other. Eyes darted nervously. No one spoke. The reality sank in like cold water. Hanging a bell around Shadow's neck meant getting close to her, closer than any mouse could survive. And so, the meeting ended with no volunteers. The idea, as clever as it was, remained only an idea. The mice returned to their homes, still afraid, still alert, and still hunted. From that day on, the mice were more cautious than ever. They stuck to the shadows and moved only when they were sure Shadow was far away. They never forgot Tilly's idea, nor did they forget Barnaby's question. Who will bell the cat? The moral of the story is simple and timeless. It is easy to propose impossible solutions, but it is another thing entirely to put them into action. Planning is important, but bold ideas must be followed by brave deeds, or they remain just dreams whispered in the dark. And as for Shadow, the cat, she still prowls the old farmhouse, her movements silent, her eyes always watching. And the mice, though still fearful, have become wise. They know that survival means more than clever plans. It means knowing your limits and living within them.